This is a CBS2 News Update. I'm Chris Wragge. Hundreds of MTA bus shelters remain closed all across the city today. CBS2's Jenna DeAngelis explains why.
It may grab your attention or even catch you off guard. Yellow caution tape wrapping bus stop after bus stop across the 5 boroughs.
It didn't seem like something was wrong with it.
If you look closely at the shelters, no obvious signs of damage, but a note instructing riders to stay out.
Well, I'm surprised they're doing it at all because I haven't ever seen them do this.
Of the 3,500 bus shelters in New York City, 1,400 are currently closed for safety inspections. Company J.C. Deco operates the bus stops and says earlier this month, corroded bolts on the roof of a Staten Island bus shelter caused it to partially collapse.
Corrosive bolts, you said? That can hurt someone.
Nobody was under the shelter at the time. This prompted the company to inspect all bus stops that are at least 6 years old. Of the first 1,000 bus stops inspected, 30 of them had corrosion, so the company decided to shut down the remaining stops until they can inspect them and ensure they are safe. It's not clear how long they were in this condition. We spoke to Transit Authority CEO Andy Byford Monday.
We want to make sure that our bus stops are safe for our customers. If there was any question of a stop being unsafe, we wouldn't use it.
Even though the shelters are shut down, service isn't. You can still hop on a bus and get where you need to go. The company says inspections will be completed within a week and required repairs are expected to be completed by the end of the month. The New York City DOT says it will hold the contractor accountable for making sure this work is done expeditiously. On the west side, Jenna DeAngelis, CBS 2 News.
Well, the alleged drunk driver accused of killing a young Boy Scout returns to court to face upgraded charges today. 59-year-old Thomas Murphy is now charged with aggravated vehicular homicide in the death of 12-year-old Andrew McMorris. Police say Murphy was drunk when he was driving the SUV that struck 5 boys along the shoulder of a road in Manorville last month, killing McMorris and injuring the other 4 boys. A Bronx man is expected to face a judge today after a firefighter survives a 30-foot fall while battling a fire in the man's apartment Sunday night. Luis Ramon apologized as he was led out of the 45th precinct last night. Police say a marijuana grow operation was discovered on the 3rd floor of the Pelham Bay apartment building where he lives. FDNY veteran Thomas Corcoran of Engine Company 72 lost his footing and fell from a ladder. He suffered fractures to his neck and back.
This firefighter had quite a fall, and although he had serious injuries, we're very happy that he survived this fall.
It's still unclear if the grow operation caused the fire. Roman is facing criminal possession of marijuana and assault charges. Happening now, an assembly hearing about legalizing recreational marijuana use in New York. The hearing is the first of 4 at the New York State Assembly, so lawmakers can seek input on proposals to legalize, regulate, and tax adult use of the drug. Assembly members will also use the hearing to look into the potential impact of legalizing marijuana for recreational use. Now let's talk a little weather out there. Sun's out now, but temperatures have dropped significantly from yesterday. Here's John Elliott with your forecast. John?
I got to tell you, Chris, I mean, I'm either catching a chill or I have lotto fever. One of the two, but it is definitely cool out there. Gorgeous skies. Isn't it pretty out there? It sure is. We've got 49 degrees in the city right now. That's the 11 o'clock observation. Wow, look at that wind out of the northwest 16. So fun with numbers. 41 to 49 to 50 to 52, but compare these numbers to yesterday. It's 5, 10, 11, 12 degrees colder. And then dew points are down, too. Dew points have dropped off. So the air is dry. We're going to see about a 10-degree drop. We'll try to eke our way back to 58. It'll feel cooler with the wind. But look at Thursday. 49. It's going to feel like the tail end of November. Come on, we're not even at Halloween yet. By the way, if you're keeping track, we set our clocks back in 19 days. And then we celebrate Thanksgiving in 37 days. Winter's 66 days away, but it's going to feel like it Thursday. We see a warm-up Friday into Saturday, chance of showers Saturday morning. Chris?
Okay, John, thank you so much. Okay, furious tenants living in public housing in the Bronx say that their buildings are overrun with rats, and they have the video to prove it. A warning, this video is not for the squeamish. CBS2 political reporter Marsha Kramer talks with residents who are pleading for help for safe housing.
I'm traumatized.
You'd be traumatized, too, if, like Veronica Martinez, this was your kitchen. Rats, an entire family of rats, some as big as cats, have taken over. Hopping into the sink, into pots and pans, it's absolutely gut-wrenching.
I should never have to experience not 1 but 7 rats in my kitchen. It's disgusting. all over the stoves, the washing machine. They just invaded my apartment.
And she's not the only tenant at NYCHA's Claremont Consolidated Houses in the Bronx who are ratting out the problem.
My wife can't hardly sleep because he hit him in the wall.
Asia Clementi's 1-year-old son was bitten by a rat. She wants Mayor de Blasio to fix the problem.
If we're paying you rent, we deserve to live like human beings, not live like we're savages, because we're not.
What makes the situation worse is that garbage is left out in the courtyard, and the residents say it breeds more rats. Tenant Marilyn Vaguila took this picture of garbage there this morning. Of course, it was magically cleaned up before reporters arrived, but some of the open trash cans remained.
I got small kids upstairs. There's about 4 of us with asthma. We can't be dealing with this kind of condition.
It was as if that family was living in a sewer infested with rodents. And I think we're sick and tired of seeing the Housing Authority and the city at large treat NYCHA residents as second-class citizens.
Councilwoman Vanessa Gibson says Mayor de Blasio should see the conditions firsthand.
Come to Claremont Consolidated and see how your residents, how our constituents are living day to day. It's not acceptable. You wouldn't live like this.
NYCHA agrees, saying it's now taking steps to deal with the problem. A spokesperson saying, our residents should not have to live in these conditions. We apologize to our residents and will continue to vigilantly monitor this situation. The agency says it intends to come up with a comprehensive plan that will include inspections and fixing unsafe conditions. In the Bronx, I'm Marcia Kramer, CBS 2 News.
Better come up with that plan fast. Well, new information as police search for more than 10 suspects in a violent clash outside a Manhattan Republican club. Members of a right-wing group fought with masked members of an anti-fascist group on the Upper East Side Friday night. Police are now looking for the men in these photos as the NYPD is defending its response to the violence.
We had 48 police officers out there. We had an inspector on scene, five sergeants and a lieutenant. We had a lot of personnel. It's when they looped down the block that it took us a minute or so. It took us 38 seconds to get out there and break up that fight.
The violence followed an appearance by Gavin McInnes, founder of the right-wing group The Proud Boys. The club issued a statement saying McInnes had spoken at the club approximately a year and a half ago, at which time there was no hint of violence. Well, today is the deadline to register to vote in New Jersey. New or updated registration forms must be mailed in with today's October 16th postmark. Online registration is not available in New Jersey. Connecticut voters have until October 30th. New York's deadline was last Friday. Bald eagles were once near extinction across the nation, but now they're making quite the comeback, especially on Long Island. CBS2's Elise Finch reports on this majestic animal's return.
Mill Pond in Centerport, Long Island is home to hundreds of birds, but it's the 2 resident bald eagles that have people in this community watching, talking, and taking pictures.
You see them soaring, and then other times you see them coming in with the fish in their talons.
All the chaps were talking about eagles, so I thought it must be the Philadelphia Eagles. And they actually informed me, no, we actually have, for the very first time, Long Island, Centerport, the eagles have returned.
At one time, there were dozens of bald eagle nesting sites in New York, including this part of Suffolk County. But in the 1900s, an abundance of pesticides and heavy metals in our waterways polluted their food source and impaired their ability to reproduce. So they flew away. The state started a bald eagle restoration project in the late 70s that continues to pay off today.
You think about eagles in Alaska, eagles somewhere in the Midwest, you really wouldn't expect to find those kinds of birds anywhere else.
Centerport's Mill Pond and a nearby property where their nest is have become popular destinations for people who want to see America's bird up close with its distinctive brown body, white head, and yellow beak. Kim Lawrence brought her 4-year-old grandson.
Can you tell me, what did it look like?
Big. They're so big and their wings are they're just majestic. They are.
The eagles are spotted here at Mill Pond almost every single day. So people in this area say they feel a real sense of ownership about the 2 birds.
I mean, it's like they're ours, it feels like.
The pair had babies who have since left the nest, but they're rebuilding the enormous shelter. So residents hope they're preparing for another generation of bald eagles. In Centerport, Long Island, Elise Finch, CBS 2 News.
Happening today, the 4th largest lottery prize in U.S. history will be up for grabs in tonight's Mega Millions drawing. The jackpot stands at an estimated $654 million. The grand prize has grown to that because no one has won the jackpot since July 24th. The odds of winning, a whopping 302 million to 1. Mega Millions is played in 44 states, including Washington, D.C. and the U.S. Virgin Islands. Go get a ticket. Best of luck to you. That's your CBS 2 News Update. I'm Chris Wragge.